Hi boys and girls. Last week we created kind of an unusual color wheel with a holiday theme. Today we are going to look at the color wheel again, at some other information that the color wheel gives us to create our project that we're going to make today. Let's take a look again at the color wheel. We know that the color wheel shows us the primary colors, yellow, red, and blue, and we know that the color wheel shows us the secondary colors that we get if we mix the primary colors together. Like we know that red and yellow makes orange, and yellow and blue makes green, and red and blue makes purple. But the color wheel also shows us something else if we divide it in half. If we just look at this side of the color wheel, we see the warm colors. The warm colors are yellow, orange, and red, and also the tertiary colors that would come in between. Like if I had red and orange mixed together, I would have reddish orange. Or if I had yellow and orange mixed together, I would have yellowish orange. Those colors are the warm colors. Now, if I look at the other half of the color wheel, we call those the cool colors. The cool colors are green, blue, and purple. And that includes the tertiary colors and other shades of those colors as well. Like green and blue mixed together would give us a bluish green or a turquoise color. This would also include yellowish green over on this side, or bluish purple, or red violet. All of those colors would be considered cool colors as well. Today, we're going to use warm and cool colors to create this stained glass window candle picture. We're going to create this stained glass window with a candle in it and some geometric shapes around the outside. And you can see how we used warm colors for the candle and we used cool colors for the background. And that makes it really stand out. For this project, you're going to need a piece of paper. You're going to need your scissors because we're going to cut this window shape. And you're going to need something to color with, like crayons or markers. Markers would actually look nice for this one. If you have markers available, markers would be just fine for this project. But like this one, you could do crayons like I did too, and that's okay. Alright, so let's get a new piece of paper and get started. So I'm going to take my new piece of paper, and I'm going to put my paper tall ways. And with my paper tall ways, I'm going to fold the left side over to the right, like this. So we're making our paper really tall and skinny. Line it up really nice, and then crease it. Like that. Now you want to make sure that the creased part is on this side, and the open part is on this side. And I want you to find about halfway up, and we're going to draw a line that starts at the crease here and curves down to about halfway up on this side, like this. We want to try to make that line curve a little bit rather than just being a straight line. If you just make a straight line, your window shape is going to be more like a house shape. So we want to try to curve that a little bit as it comes up. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut right on that line with my paper still folded. Now get rid of my scraps. When I open it back up, I'll have that window shape. Easy, right? Now we're going to draw our candle in the middle. I'm going to draw with marker so that you can see it. You should draw with pencil so you can erase if you make a mistake. Our candle should be a little bit more than halfway up. So I'm going to go right up my crease here. Look at where I had made my window line and go maybe just a little bit higher. And make a line that comes straight across. We want to have it about equal on each side of that center fold. I'm going to come down a little bit on each side, like this. And then I'm going to make some wavy drip-shaped lines, like this. Back to there. That's going to be the wax dripping on my candle. Then I'm going to draw two straight lines all the way down. You can see where I started that line, I came in just a little bit from the edge, from the outside edge of that dripping wax. All the way down, like that. Right on my fold, I'm going to make a line coming up. That's for the wick of the candle. And then I'm going to draw a teardrop shape for the flame. So I want the point of the teardrop to be right on that fold again. Round at the bottom and back up to the point, like that. Now we're going to draw a circle around the flame to be the light shining. If you want to, you could find something round to trace, like this yogurt cup. And you can see I put that so that the circle is going just down into the candle a little bit. Make sure it's centered, and then I'm going to trace around it. If you can't find something to trace, you could freehand that circle, and that would be okay too. Now I'm just going to make another circle right outside that one. I'm going to freehand this one and just follow around the circle that I traced. Like that. Now we're going to make some lines coming out from our flame through the end of the circle. So I'm going to start here in the middle and go like this. And I'm going to put one going straight out this way, going straight out this way. And let's do one in between each of those. Just like dividing this circle up like slices of pizza or slices of apple pie. Just like that. So now we have our candle, and we need to make the shapes in the background for the stained glass window. You can see that these are all triangles and square shapes that meet in the middle. So I'm going to start here and make a shape that comes out this way. And the trick is, once I have one shape, I'm going to make shapes connect to it. So we're always going to try to connect in the corners. So now I'll go this way and maybe go right off my page. Like that. And then I'll come down and make another one. So wherever there's a corner, that's where I want to connect another shape like that. See how that works? So I'll make this line come over this way and make a new shape. And we want to fill the background with these lines, creating these shapes. Your shapes don't have to look just like mine. Yours might be a little bit different, and that's okay. So I have that side pretty much filled up. I'll keep working my way around this way, creating more shapes for my stained glass window. If you need to move your paper around as you're making shapes, that's okay. Your window doesn't have to be the same on both sides. It's okay if the right is different from the left. It would actually be really difficult to try to keep it exactly the same the whole way down. Just remember to connect your shapes in the corners. Once you have your paper all filled with your stained glass window shapes, now we're ready to add some color. I'll give you a couple minutes to finish drawing your shapes before we color. Okay, now we're ready to color. When we color this candle in the stained glass window, we are going to use warm colors for the candle and cool colors for the space around it. This time I'm going to use markers. When I did the last one, I colored this one with crayons, but I'm going to color this new one with markers. I want you to start with yellow for the flame. Like that. I'm also going to do yellow in the area at the very outside of the circle, the crust of the pizza. Will be yellow. Next, I'm going to do orange for the drips of the candle. And I'm also going to do orange here in the other part of the pizza. Like that. Then I'm going to use red for the rest of the candle. Notice how I'm coloring this with my marker. When you're coloring a big area with markers, instead of going back and forth like you would with crayons, you should go in long, straight lines. And coloring in long, straight lines with that wider part of the marker can make your colors look really nice and smooth and neat. Just like that. Now, for the rest of this picture, we're going to color the background with cool colors. Do you remember our cool colors? That's green and blue and purple. You can also see that I use some like red-violet colors, some lighter shades of green. If you have crayons, like if you have a bigger box of crayons with lots of colors, you can use lots of different shades of those greens and blues and purples. If you're just using a small box that just has the 8 colors and you just have green, blue, and purple for your cool colors, that's okay too. You're just going to have to repeat those colors more. This box of markers is somewhere in between that, so you can see I have some different shades of some cool colors here that I can use. So I'm just going to pick one shape to start with, and I'm going to fill that in with one of my cool colors. And while I have that color in my hand, I'll pick a shape on the other side. And I'll just kind of jump around my background, part of my drawing, and fill in a few different shapes with that color. Again, you see how I'm coloring with my marker, where I'm doing the outline first and then filling in smooth, longer strokes like that to make it nice and neat. I'll do one more down here. And maybe I'll do one over here. I try to make sure I'm not using the same color right next to where I put it already. I spread them out around my background. Once I've done a few with that color, now I'm going to pick another color. I picked a blue color. So I'm going to go next to that first green one, and I'm going to color in with this blue. Using the same technique. And I'm going to color a bunch of sections with this blue color. Like that. Now let's pick another color. How about purple? And I'll color a few sections with this purple. Like that. Now I'm going to use this darker green color and pick a few sections to color with this darker green. There we go. Remember, if you don't have different shades like that, you could repeat your colors over and over. Just try not to put them right next to each other. Try not to put a blue right next to another blue, and so on. Let's try this. Speaking of blue, let's try this lighter blue color next. just like that. Now I've run out of different cool colors that I can use, so for these other spaces I still have, I need to repeat some of the colors that I've already used, but try to make sure I'm not putting anything right next to a color I've already done. So here I have a light green, dark blue, a purple all next to each other, so I think this one's going to have to be dark green. When you get down to those last few colors, try to make sure if you're repeating your colors, you're not putting any two exactly the same right next to each other. So I think I'll have to make this one here a purple. It can be a little like a puzzle, trying to figure out how you can put all of these things next to each other without repeating your colors. I think this one will be a light green. So take a few minutes and finish coloring in all of the background of your stained glass window. There we go. There is our warm and cool color stained glass window. Do you see how the candle really stands out with the warm colors against the cool colors of the background? The warm colors and cool colors create a lot of contrast. Contrast means the difference between two things, and it really helps it to stand out. You could even try taking this candle picture and hanging it in the window and letting the light shine through the paper so that you can see all of your colors shining, just like a real stained glass window when it's all done. Well, take some time and finish coloring your stained glass window. When you get it all done, make sure you show it to me here in the meeting, and also take a picture of it and send it to me on Seesaw so I can see it all done. All right, boys and girls, get working, and I'll see you soon.